to actually unpack or to give ANC advice regarding potential sanctions that could be imposed by the United States of America, especially to certain ANC leaders. That will be targeted sanctions. We know the consequences of targeted sanctions from the reference of Zimbabwe. Of Chris Mutsvangwa giving an honest opinion, a robust opinion about what could potentially befall South Africa, having actually practical experience of what targeted sanctions can do to Zimbabwe. He chose to mislead the South African government. Let's hope they are not going to take advice or instructions from Chris Mutsvanga, who may actually be giving information out of the troubles that they are going through within ZANU-PF, and also seeking to transmit the political disease that ZANU-PF has been spreading in Zimbabwe. Let's listen to him before we proceed, but let me start by greeting you and welcoming you on your lovely channel, the Hloniphani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. Let's listen to the audio of Chris Mutsvangwa speaking with the South African journalist.
What would your message be to the ANC, given the fact that they face possible sanctions from the US, when this was a fate that Zimbabwe had suffered as early as last year?
Look, first, we would misdirect itself in terms of relations with the South Africa, with the ANC. Could be resolved without the resort to sanctions, but that is it may, if they decide to go their way, is the America. We have had the experience of dealing with sanctions for more than 2 decades. They haven't stopped Zimbabwe from making progress. To the contrary, we are now potentially the most dynamic economy on the African continent. We have now relied on our own resources to build up our capacity. Who would have thought Zimbabwe at this juncture would have a thoroughly modern steel industry, which we are talking about, which even maybe America would look at with a little bit of jealousy. So don't worry, South Africa, but don't worry about being pushed around superpowers. We have the capacity, we know we have traveled the road, we share experiences, and we have the resources anyway. I told you the gas, the nickel, the ferrochrome, you cannot take it away from us, no matter what they say. So for the people of Southern Africa, look on the bright side. This glass is half full, not half empty.
So, well, that Chris Mutsvangwa responding to a South African journalist after being asked an innocent question, hoping for a sober and innocent also response from Chris Mutsvangwa. But it was as good as asking the devil the dangers of committing the sin and expecting that the devil will properly advise you. So this is what we got from Chris Mutsvangwa. He told the journalist that, that the United States of America is not going to resort to sanctions, giving an impression that it will be America which will be hit hard, especially if they resort to impose sanctions on ANC leaders. But that was a misplaced opinion, and also suggesting that Zimbabwe is growing, it is a booming steel industry. All the lies that we have been hearing, from the very moment ZANU-PF began to actually take the economy of Zimbabwe down. And I hope that ANC does not look for from ZANU-PF. This is a failed political party. At the moment, you are actually crying of the influx of migrants from Zimbabwe coming to South Africa. Why would there be numerous Zimbabweans flooding your country if ZANU-PF is doing well? Don't be actually misinformed. And even today, as I am speaking, there are Zimbabweans who are planning to run away from Zimbabwe. About 6,000 teachers, they are planning, not teachers, in fact, about 6,000 nurses rather, they have already applied to run away from Zimbabwe. I'm talking even of teachers, I'm talking of anyone with a certificate in Zimbabwe that can get him out of the wrath of ZANU-PF. He is planning to run away even as I'm speaking at the moment. And they are making the process of Zimbabweans running away from Zimbabwe to be very expensive. That is why Zimbabwe has the most expensive passport in the world. So Chris Mutsvangwa is lying. Zimbabwe currently sits at more than 95% unemployment rate. I think I was sharing a story with you from a credible international organization which depicted that it is highly, very difficult to survive in Zimbabwe. In fact, Zimbabwe is number 4 difficult country to survive on the world, and it is actually such as Ukraine, Syria, which are war-torn countries. Zimbabwe is topping that list of countries which it is actually difficult to survive in. That is the honest truth. So what Chris Mutsvangwa was doing, we know him when he's given a mic. Even in ZANU-PF at the moment, ZANU-PF is in trouble, ZANU-PF is in tatters, because they have allowed Chris Mutsvangwa to have the mic to conduct press briefings. And the moment he gets holds of the microphone and he is in the presence of the journalist, unfortunately, he loses control. He loses it all and let it loose, sometimes without putting thought. And he's a very, very dangerous politician, dangerous to ZANU-PF and dangerous to the people of Zimbabwe as well as the people of the world, because he can lie confidently, and when listening to him you would think, no, Chris has a point. There is absolutely no point. South Africa should try by all means to negotiate with the United States of America, humble itself, try if possible, try all means possible to appease the United States of America. If they allow sanctions to sail through, of which there is high probability, I mean, the bill may actually be translated into law. There is absolutely a high probability. If then that becomes the case, I can attest to you that we may see South Africa maybe experiencing the worst from what Zimbabwe experienced, and it will be catastrophic, particularly to Southern Africa. So they shouldn't take notes to the government of ZANU-PF. And even ANC, you have, ever since ANC started to listen to ZANU-PF, it is deteriorating. You don't need to listen to a failed political party. Of course, they are very proud. They will always boast, even when they are actually falling to the pit. They will tell you that there is life underground on their way down to the pit, to be broken and eventually die. These are the people who, I mean, if or misplaced confidence was actually personified, you can refer that individual such as Chris Mutsvangwa. So no one in the world, I cannot wish any country to experience what Zimbabweans are experiencing. Zimbabweans are held hostage at the moment by ZANU-PF. It is quite difficult to survive in Zimbabwe with the levels of education, with the levels of actually manpower and human capital that Zimbabwe has. The people are suffering, people are dying. The cost of living in Zimbabwe is beyond the reach of many. It is only these ZANU-PF officials who are enjoying life, but not all of them. That is why there is serious factionalism at the moment between the retired General Chwenga as well as the Nangagwa faction. So I hope the ANC government will always do what is right and not listen to their friends, lying friends, who can lie with a straight face. I've never seen such people. You know, they can look at you and lie and put emotions in lies. then these are trained conmen. I mean, they are very, very dangerous to exist in this world, and they are a serious mistake to ever see the light of the day on the surface of Mother Earth. Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, guess what? You become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the subscribe plus button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. You can also support us by visiting our pages on X, formerly Twitter. We exist there as Hloniphani Global News. We also exist on Facebook as Hloniphani Global News.